Hello everybody, how are you? Donna Ogazalik here, and I'm an educator with East Coast Salon Services. So guys, today's hair color video is going to be about bringing impact to a hairstyle and not spending hours, something quick and easy that's gonna make a lasting impact on your clients. I actually did a little haircut on my girl here, a cute little chisel and bob. I did a little razor cut. And what we're going to do today is going to be showcasing from Soft BACO from Kaaral. This is our Glow collection. What it is, it's a demi-permanent hair color, and it has some gorgeous pastel shades. We have the light blue, the new mint, and you can see I love that picture. Isn't that gorgeous? And then, but what we're going to be doing today is the Casis and the Cantelope, because you know what guys, these are gorgeous shades for taking you from the summer into the fall. What I did here is I actually pre-toned our model here with the 8.4 from the BACO collection. This is our permanent hair color because I just wanted a little bit more of a contrast. I thought if I did this on it would look really pretty on blonde hair, but to show you here. So I'm gonna grab the Cantelope. So now, just if I put this on blonde hair, it might not be seen as easily, but it is gorgeous on blonde. It gives it a really pretty rose gold. So guys, I'm gonna do a nice little surface highlight because it's not about what you don't see. It's really about what you see and what impact we can bring to the clients. I know myself, I might have somebody in for a haircut and maybe I have an extra hour and a half, somebody canceled, and they might say, geez, I wish you had time for color today. Or maybe I even suggest it like, hey, you know, I can give you some really pretty color today and it's not gonna take that long. So I know a lot of us are used to doing balayage, but here's just another idea. So keeping in mind that we are going to be putting this probably over something that has a little bit of gold to it. If you really want this pure cantaloupe tone, you're going to lift and eliminate the yellow in the hair, but we're gonna maintain it. And what you're gonna get is a really pretty peachy kind of rose gold. The other shade we're gonna incorporate just for a little bit of variety is the Casis, which is a really pretty pale kind of pinky purple. So, all right guys, I'm gonna get started and we'll talk more as I go. Okay everybody, we are starting as my lightener choice with Kaaral's Blonde Elevation Bleach Extreme. So right now I'm measuring 1 scoop, which is roughly about 30 grams of lightener, and I'm going to be adding 60 grams of our Dev Plus, which is our developer. I'm going to be using 20 volume. And guys, this is gonna give us such beautiful lift. It helps get past all the warmth and in a record amount of time. It's beautiful. It has a light violet pigment. And just so you know, also our developer actually has aloe vera and coconut oil in the base, which is going to give you added moisture and nutrients to the hair. So guys, in order to protect the hair, whenever I'm using lightener, I always like to add a bond builder. And my choice is BACO by Kaaral. It's our silkiest recovery. So not only is it going to help strengthen the hair, but guys, this one actually gives the hair incredible shine and it feels so soft and nourished. Hair actually feels better after a lightening service, believe it or not. It is extraordinary. Okay everybody, I have my lightener mixed, which I used my Blonde Elevation lightener, Blonde Extreme from Kaaral, and I would not start any foiling technique without my FRAMAR foils. I'm so excited East Coast now sells them, and today I'm going to be using the Ethereal collection, which is super fun to me. It has like the unicorn kind of colors. And I'm also going to be using my COOBOARD when I get to the balayage part. I'm only going to do a couple balayage sections on the surface, but this helps me to secure things into place and easily diversify my technique where I want to blend and make sure that I have a pushback when I do my saturation. So I am starting everybody with my triangular section. It's kind of, I think it's called an isosceles triangle, where it's shorter over here and then I take a long straight line to the beginning of the recision area. So can you see recision to recision? I come back, I'd say about a little over an inch, and then just take a straight diagonal to the recision. So how we're going to begin this, and this is all just so it has a really pretty impact on the face frame. So I'm doing this, guys, because next month I'm going to be doing a really fun, easy kind of mix of balayage and radial face frame. It gives real pretty seamless blends. So as you can see here, let me just show you. I'm just going to take a very thin section in the very front. I'm blocking that, aren't I? Let's try that again. Okay. I'm going to edit that out, I think. So anyway, I'm just going to take a very thin section, and we're going to clip the rest away. I think even thinner. Especially around the face frame, guys, because we want a really pretty seamless blur, and I'm just going to neatly pin that back. Okay, guys, so I'm going to continue on a diagonal until I run out of space, and then I'll take you on to the next section, okay? So you can watch as we go. So beginning my very first section, I take a fine baby light and I take the excess hair and remove it so that the first section is actually the section behind the hair that I've dropped out, so that it gives a nice little blur. So you can see the way I wrapped my foil. It's so that I keep the foil out of my guest's eyes, and I kind of just press it out along the sides just to make it a little bit more head hugging and comfortable. So I continue with the diagonal angle and maybe a little bit wider of a baby light, and also taking very great care to kind of feather it up towards the scalp so it's a real pretty seamless blur. And now with my next section, now this will be my third foil. I'm actually going to take a little bit wider of a section, and I'm going to actually do a slight teasy light, and I'm going in with my COOBOARD and pushing that tease away and up towards the scalp and feathering it in down towards the scalp, making sure that I have great saturation. And the COOBOARD also gives great pushback to make sure that you have great saturation. And I'm going to continue to do this until I get to the end of my section. You can see I went a little bit wider here and a little bit heavier of a tease. But what's going to happen is, because of the baby lights around the face, that's going to be right up towards the scalp. But it's going to progress slowly about the third foil in, and doing a heavier tease till I get to the end of the section, and that's going to make a seamless transition from bright to a little bit deeper to go right back about 1.5 inches behind our first section, and that's where it's going to start going into the balayage. Okay guys, we are done the front isosceles triangle, transitioning it into a little bit further away from the scalp at the edge of the triangle. So now we're actually going to go to the back of the head. So guys, this is where you kind of want to take a look at the movement. You know, everybody's hair is different. It moves differently away from the scalp. So I'm just kind of stepping back here a little bit and looking at the round of my mannequin's head here. And I'm taking a wider weave. And I'm just going to kind of feather it on up, because this boldness is going to pop out from underneath of the dark hair that's going to be above it. So we want it to be a little bit wider, and by feathering it up towards the root, it's going to make a seamless blend rather than seeing a harsh line of demarcation. So the other thing, I mean, just these two foils may be enough. Sometimes I go to the round of the head, just where the head starts to round in the crown, and that's where I may place two foils, either right above it. But, you know, depending on the impact that you want to make and the shape of someone's head, I may decide to go 4 foils. So basically, 2 equal above the round of the head, and then as it starts, before it gets to the occipital, I might add another foil. So that's totally your call. So you can see here, I just kind of pinned those up, and I'm just taking another wide section here. And it's up to you. If you want to do a teasy light here, you totally could, but I know that I can feather it in, and I want maximum impact from underneath because I'm not doing a lot of foils in the back right here. Okay, so I release all the foils, and I just want to release the hair above it just to kind of see the movement and where do I think I'm going to take my next section. So I notice a little gap there, and I just want to do a little teasy light because we are getting to the top of the head, and that is where I do most of my teasy lights, or I might tease the balayage or take a lot of time to make sure that I have a really pretty feathered section as I get closer to the scalp so that you cannot see any harsh lines. Okay, so now we are coming around the edge of the face, and I'm gonna pin this all back so I can work neatly. And we're gonna take a really fine baby light. And again, I'm leaving the hair come out from underneath down near the face, so that creates a soft little blur. Okay, once again, guys, around the hairline, at that face frame, I'm doing a baby light and leaving the hair closest to the face out for a little filter and applying my lightener to the hair behind it. So we have all done around the face. We have the back of the head. So now we are going to work up the sides. Right now, I'm pinning apart a section of the top of the head that I know where we're going to part the hair, because I want to section that away so that I know as I get close to that, I'm going to really take extra care how I want that to appear at the top of the head for my guest. Okay, all the hair is pinned out of the way, and we're going to actually begin our very first lightening section on the sides, not at the base, but we're going to go right to the parietal ridge. We're going to leave that depth behind for the contrast because the impact's going to be more surface, everybody. And that's the whole point of this. We're going to make this quick and easy, but yet impactful. So guys, my sections are about 1 inch apart because I want to maintain the depth behind, and the contrast, the lightness against the depth is what leaves such a pretty impact. But it's the way that we place it on the head. So I did a pretty big weave, and I'm going through and doing a teasy light. So that's going to create some even spacing, but some nice blur up towards the scalp, leaving about a 1/2 inch blur. So again, taking about another inch section. Okay, doing a teasy light, going back in with my COOBOARD, pushing that tease back down towards the scalp and out of the way, nice and clean. You can see I have a nice weave there. And I'm just going to go back up through and create a V depth down towards the scalp. But yet I still want a pretty good saturation of lightener because we are going to leave out a pretty big section in between. But that V in the center gives it a very natural appearance. So keeping in mind and trying to weigh out the space that I have left until I have the part, which it's really helpful, guys. I always like to kind of clip away the part so I can visually see about how many sections I plan on placing on the hair. And depending on the impact, less sections if you want a more natural look. And obviously if you want a little more brightness, you can squeeze another section in before the part. And decide whether you want to include the hair at the part as well. Okay, we are towards the top of the head here, and guys, I'm going to go back in with some more of a teasy light, but I'm going to do a balayage, but still a small little V of depth up towards the scalp. I want to have some depth, but also keeping in mind this is a shorter hairstyle, and we're leaving out some dimension behind, so we are going to have the depth in between. But I still want an impact, but a nice little natural impact. Okay, again, we go to the parietal ridge on the other side, creating a very strong section down towards the base, about an inch section in between. And guys, a really big, you can see, weave there. But the teasy light really takes a lot of the harshness and it creates a nice blur, but yet you're going to have some nice spacing and an impact from the bold pieces. Okay guys, you can see I did a nice little balayage there with just a very small V, but we have a lot of teasy light left behind, so that's going to create a nice little blur. And guys, this is going to create such a nice grow out for your client. We have the impact around the face, a nice little distribution across the back, and we are doing a lot of blending and blurring throughout this entire process. All right, everybody, we are in the home stretch here. Again, doing another teasy light section. Working this through, doing vertical foiling, about an inch out again. So just kind of showing you here where about we're gonna part the hair, and I'm just kind of visually taking a look at how I'm planning on approaching my last section. So I am getting one last section in before we hit that. And keeping in mind how we did our previous foils, because I like to alternate the intensity, because I think that gives it a really pretty natural look and impact as well. So again, leaving a little bit of a V behind for a soft balayage effect, but yet enough lightener. And I'm using the blonde elevation bleach from Kaaral. That's going to give me a really nice, beautiful, clear blonde lift. And I'm leaving a little bit of space before I use my balayage again on the top. Did you see I dropped out a little bit of depth over top of my foil that I took on the triangular section in the front? So still, I just want to have a nice little blur because I know this is just about around the parting. And feathering that on up and making sure that it looks pretty. Guys, if it's not pretty with your eye when you're looking at your bleach on the hair or the lightener, do a nice little blend with your finger or a secondary brush. 4 foils in the back, a mix of teasy lights balayage and baby lights around the face. Everybody, I am back. I have taken the foils out, shampooed her, and blow dried her hair. You can see the really pretty dimension. It's very seamless. We had a mix. Remember, we had the triangular face frame in the front, and we did some baby lights, and then we moved back into progressing to where the hair came out away from the scalp a little bit. So it kind of creates a nice little seamless shift, although it is subtle brightness around the face, isn't it? And what client wouldn't love that? So this is designed to give you a nice little pop around the face, just a diagonal side, and then a few foils in the back, which it's a little bit deeper because we didn't go quite as many foils. But you know, this blows in the wind and it is so beautiful. So it's a nice progression from light into dark. And then you can kind of see it has a nice little frame, right? It's very soft. So the grow out on this is going to be really nice for your clients. So guys, the next thing I'm going to be doing is toning with the Cantelope, but I'm also going to bring in, just because this is a hair video, you can certainly just put on the Cantelope and call it a day. It'll be so gorgeous, but just for fun, for the sake of the video and to bring you something new and exciting, what I'm going to do is bring a little bit of the Casis, which is the light violet kind of tone, and we're just going to kind of create a little shape, like a little triangle here. I'll take you through, and a little bit of couple triangles throughout the head, so that when you curl it, you're going to get a nice play of the nice little Cantelope with the pinky purple textured in between. It's going to be very subtle. So guys, I hope you enjoy this, and I will get going. Okay everybody, I am mixed and ready to go. I have mixed up the Cantelope and the Casis here. I have my FRAMAR foils and my FRAMAR brush, and I just want to show you my sectioning. Now you can get creative and do whatever you want, and also to let you know, not just this color combination. Like if you just kind of want to even change up maybe a warm and a cool tone, that has a really pretty shift when you do something like this to tone, because there's such a pretty interplay by doing little triangles. I did a little zigzag parting. I'm going to show you my logic. So this girl's hair is designed to come off to the side. It's heavier over here, right? So right where it parts, like right in here, I took like either side of the part by a little bit, just so that we have this face frame that's going to be the pretty little subtle violet. It's more like a pastel violet with a little bit of pink to it. And then I kind of really want to see the majority of this be like that rose gold. You can see this it's a pale yellow, so it's going to give that Cantelope just the tiniest little influence of golden tones, a pale gold, like a pale yellow. So I just kind of did a little zigzag, and what this is going to do is the next section, this is all I'm saving on the top for the Cantelope. So that's going to give you like a rose gold influence. So then I'm going to do little triangles underneath with a pop of the violet. It's going to be so subtle, but guys, it's going to look so pretty when it's curled. When the wind blows, it's going to be such a nice little tonal shift. So I'm going to put this into hyper speed so you guys can see as I go. I'm still trying to decide, what do you guys think? I wish I could hear you. What we should do with the sides, rose gold or a little bit more of the violet, just so that violet just has some pop around the face. Because when it's down, because it's a heavier kind of bob towards the front, it's a triangular bob, you're not going to see that unless it's styled away. So I think I've already tucked myself into it. We're going to do a little bit more violet around the face, and then the Cantelope over the top. So see you guys soon. Okay, so on to our toning section of this video. So again, we are using the Kaaral's Soft BACO, and this is from their pastel collection. It's called Glow, and I am using, it's called Casis, in the triangle section over the one eye there. That's about where the parting will be. And then I'm just going to do some face frame of the same color. So all of this in here is going to be the Casis. So more of the pinky purple. It's a very pastel, beautiful shade. So what's going to be so neat is when the hair is down, you're really going to see most of the Cantelope with a little bit of the Casis, maybe if the wind blows or if the hair is curled. But because this is more of a triangular bob, it's going to be a little heavier and a little weighted. So I'm going to do 2 more sections of the triangle. Can you see where I had the V's? I'm just taking a big V section so that underneath of the hair that lays over top is going to pop out a little bit of that light pastel purple. That's called the Casis. So I'm just going to do this quickly and just show you the other sections. It's neat when there's the big V's because all you do is really take a slice across the bottom of the triangle to enclose, or the V to enclose to make a triangle. So I'm just doing a little twist just so I can know. I'm just going to put that aside because really most of the rest of the head is going to be the cantaloupe. Okay, everybody, so I have just completed working with the Casis. So just to review, we have a triangle over the one eye, right about where the hair is going to part. And we also have the Casis around the face frame and then 2 triangular sections in the back of the head. Truly, the rest of this mannequin head we are doing in the cantaloupe. So I'm just taking through sections underneath. It's nice that I kind of twisted those little sections because I can easily move them out of the way. So just making sure to really have it thoroughly saturated and comb through so that you can have the impact and even distribution on the head. Okay, guys, this is one of the most important sections. So you're going to see from the front very soon, but what I'm doing is really taking another triangular section opposite of the Casis. We're going to be using the cantaloupe on the other side. The cool thing about this, and this is where the impact is, depending where your guest parts their hair, on one side, they can have predominantly the light pastel violet, which is the Casis, or if they prefer to have the cantaloupe, which is a little more warm, kind of almost like a peachy rose gold effect on the hair. It's simply by shifting the part, they can change how they're gonna look for the day depending on the mood. But you can already see the difference. One side's purple, the other side's cantaloupe. So in order to save you guys a little bit of time, I'm just going to inform you that I am working in triangular sections around the entire rest of the head and applying the cantaloupe. So by the time I'm finished, I am going to let this process for 30 minutes. I used a 6 volume developer, and I'm going to jump ahead here for you guys to see the end results. Okay, guys, we are back from shampooing. Look at those beautiful tones. We have the Casis, which is our pastel purple, along with the pastel peachy tone, which is cantaloupe. And I'm prepping the hair with Mousse Manoy de Tahiti oil. It's certified organic and it nourishes the hair like nobody's business. And it also protects the hair from humidity and locks in that hair color. Next, I'm using the Valook, and that is from our Style Perfetto line. Guys, this medium hold mousse gives the hair so much body, and it's so nice and easy to blow dry. It has a really nice slip to it. So I'm gonna get started blow drying the hair, and I'm gonna show you the finished end results in just a second. Okay, guys, I just finished the blow dry, and I am Going to start with showing you a little bit predominantly of the pretty Cantelope. But you can kind of see, let me take this off of here. I'm wondering if the ring light, if you can see. You can see a little bit of the purple. The Casis, like that's like a really pretty pastel. So I did not put the way I did the triangle over here of the purple. If you want to flip this so that it's predominantly a really pretty kind of rose gold peachy Cantelope, you can do your part this way. If you want to go a little edgy, and do a little bit more purple, you just part it on the other side. Pretty cool, right? So depending if your client likes to be versatile, and I'm gonna curl this for you, but you can kind of see the real pretty different tones in there. And it shows up a little bit more in person than rather just on the ring light. You can actually see a little bit more of the purple in person. I don't know that it's really translating, but I'm gonna curl this for you. But isn't she gorgeous? This Cantelope is so pretty. It's just something slightly different than your everyday kind of toner. And I did this on a level 6, which was more like a brunette copper. So this is such a pretty, nice little blend, isn't it? So we did, just to recap, we did a triangular section in the front of highlights transitioning to a little bit further away from the scalp. We came in and we did the round of the head with just a couple little highlights on either side, boom, boom. Then we came to the side and we did some baby lights. Now I did purple toning, but you could do the Cantelope instead of the Casis. And then I just started around the precision area, the parietal ridge, and just kind of met up to about the part line. And I alternated between balayage, between teasy light, and baby light. So always trying to leave a little bit of depth, but it's really kind of cool though, isn't it? It's very seamless. So let me give it a curl and see what you guys think.